All right, welcome to Masculine Geek number 216, the Fireside Chat, some random geekery. This was supposed to be a AD&D game, Rollo's game, in fact, but we got Rolloed by Rollo. So we will be returning to our regularly scheduled AD&D live broadcasting next Wednesday on the 29th. But until then, you get us for about an hour where we talk about some random shit. So how is everybody doing?
Awesome.
Just great.
All right.
Cool. All right, we're done.
So what happened? Rollo get invited to the Playboy Mansion and blew us off?
Well, it's funny because probably whenever Rollo I know wants to play, so he'll say, "Look, I'm going to be out in Vegas and doing a show on Thursday, but I'll be out there on Wednesday. So Wednesday from the hotel room, I can DM the game." Invariably, he gets invited to go do something, which is fine. So next time Rollo offers to do one of these, we got burned last time with the exact same scenario. So next time Rollo offers to do, like, no, we're not doing it. No, we're gonna reschedule. Jesus Christ. So that was that. So I think he's hanging out with a very well-known personage, which we're not going to give it away. We'll just wait for that to happen for you guys tomorrow. So we know who it is. You don't, and that's too bad. We don't care.
I was probably told and forgot already.
It doesn't really matter overall.
It was in the private chat you never read, Drew.
Yeah, pretty much.
I do read it occasionally. I have been so just swamped with writing. Mainly.
Hey, you gave us treasure and experience breakdowns and stuff from your game, so I can't give you too much grief. You did at least post some game related stuff to us.
We'll give you a little bit of grief,
yeah.
And the rolls were pretty fucking good too. Holy shit!
You have to go over the stuff that I found on that. Aside from the, in fact, Ulfer found. I wrote that shit down. He found leather armor, 2 rings, a wand, boots, Morningstar, and scrolls. The scrolls you told me. But I don't know I don't know the other stuff. You have to let me know so I can divvy it out or keep it.
Did I tell you the potions that you found on him?
I think those were listed.
No, you didn't. I would have no. I would have written them down. What the fuck's going on over here? Come on, man. How many potions?
Okay, so actually, let me tell you the other stuff that you found on him real quick. The leather armor, +1.
All right, +1.
The potions are listed here: oil of slipperiness, giant strength, climbing, animal.
No, hang on. No. I wrote down the stuff. I have it right here. I was very, very adamant about taking, because you guys weren't there, so obviously you wouldn't write this down. I wrote down the stuff that I found on that fucking magic user. So here's the things that I found, and I'm quoting myself. Magic user loot on 315. Leather armor. 2 rings. A wand, boots, Morningstar, and scrolls. Anything else was found in the treasure that was on the beach, on the monster. So
I threw some potions in as you searched his.
Well, you
armor.
didn't say that. So all right. So what kind of? So 2
add
potions. 2 potions. What kind?
A bunch of potions. So the potions that you found on him were oil of slipperiness, giant strength.
All right, hang on.
Climbing.
Giant strength. Climbing.
Animal control.
Animal control.
And invisibility.
Well, I can be bent for a while.
Pretty handy collection of
so
stuff there.
Did I find out what the rings, wand, boots, Morningstar? You told me the scrolls. And
Yes,
I'll take a screenshot of that.
Assuming that during the voyage back to Jorvik.
Correct.
To is that Northumbria?
Yes.
Okay, so make sure I'm going to have to study my medieval European geography now, so I know where everything is. The leather armor is just +1.
Okay.
The rings were a ring of protection +2, and a ring of feather falling. The wand is a wand of.
All right, hang on. Ring of protection +2. I have to write this down. I could use
and the
that.
other The other is a ring of feather falling.
I can use that too.
Hey, Vince, I'll give you bracers of defense +3 for that ring of protection +2.
Let's do it. So you have a ring of
Can he
protection
wear those?
+2. I think I can wear we'll find out, and then we'll make the change.
Okay.
So ring of feather falling. What else? So we got what's the wand?
Of fire.
Oh, I love it. Wand of fire. That's perfect. The boots.
Of speed.
Fantastic.
And the Morning Star is +1.
All right, anyone can have that Morning Star. I can't use it, so. All right, so next game we'll divvy that out, obviously, and if I can use bracers, I will trade those for the rear protection for Bjorn, obviously, because he is my brother.
Yeah.
And I shared the spells. There's one with 7 clerical spells, one with 7 magic spells.
Yeah, the magic user ones obviously I'm keeping, and the cleric ones I gave to Bjorn.
I got I think, pretty interesting mix. So what I did is I randomly rolled for which scroll, because it'll give you, okay, you get this many spells of this level, this many of this level. And so the level, a lot of spells in each scroll and pretty high levels. There's a range of levels, so I just rolled for each one what is the level, and then went to the list of the spells for each of those levels and rolled randomly for the ones. And it looks like a pretty solid collection of spells here. Some of these you might not be able to put into your spell book for a while. But you know what? I should have gone through Unearthed Arcana and pulled some from that. I'm going to have to read through that before next time so that I'm up on all the stuff. Plus, if people... And I don't know, TJ, what did you want to do since you just kind of kamikazed last time? What were you thinking of playing? Because
I have to get him an Unearthed Arcana copy.
Yeah, you got Barbarian class in there, so I don't want to steer you towards anything. Pick whatever you think you'd have fun playing, but
that isn't a ranger.
Yes, you're not allowed to choose a ranger. You already did.
You did well as a ranger, though. Played it, just died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although that second time,
that was my fault, but not deliberately.
Well, you did yell.
I did warn everybody
to run.
Well, and the DM gave him a chance. The DM's
true.
You know, so
this is a rocky, boulder-strewn beach. There's a cliff, so there's rocks and crap that have broken off the cliff that are strewn across. There's things you could hide behind.
Exactly.
So,
cool. I've actually got a question about it since we're on the D&D topic. How do you guys do experience, by the way?
I loosely keep track of the gold and the value.
Very loosely.
Yeah, we were doing a little bit tighter at first. So we started out pretty tightly adhering to AD&D 1E rules, except for the one-to-one time. And not training to level up and a couple things. So there's a few things that we are not doing for the sake of the different format. But with the XP, usually what I'll do is I'll look at the monsters, how many there are, the strength of the monsters relative to the group, and then just see what they roughly should be and round up. And then I'll also consider, do these guys do cool and creative stuff with their characters? And then I'll just throw on a bunch more XP for that. And then we look at the gold value of the treasure. And in AD&D 1E, gold equals XP. So whatever the value of the treasure is. Now, if they take a magical item and they keep it, then they don't get the XP for it, because then the value of that is in the use of the item. But if they decide they're going to turn and sell these items, then when they sell these items, the gold that they get from that, it would be worth XP. So treasure, killing bad guys, resolving or overcoming obstacles all translates to XP. But this last time, I hadn't tracked as closely. And the thing that they fought, first off, the magic user was a dual class cleric wizard that was of comparable level to the group. And so I just figured, you know what, it's not in the book. So I'll just make a call. How much XP do I think this would be worth? So sometimes I'm just kind of guessing at it, but I think based on having run this and played it before, that the XP is pretty close in terms of what they'd be getting if I was doing it a little bit more tightly. So it's not absolutely perfect, but is it fun?
Absolutely.
Is it working? That's the thing. So everybody should. There's been a shit ton of treasure. So everybody should.
I'm almost 8th level. I think if not 8th level. So
No.
Good.
How does Rolo do it usually with the experience?
he has never given us experience actually.
Yeah, experience is the fact that we're blessed to play with him as our DM.
We are.
I'm assuming once the campaign is over, he'll figure that out, because we're doing the entire.
Or maybe it should all be listed in the module.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking, is because I'm multi-classing, so it has to split between the two.
Correct. Yeah.
But because I'm a 3 mage, 3 cleric. My mage is 10,000 and my cleric is 6,000. So technically, I'm assuming I'm starting at 5,000 base. So I should hit my cleric very quickly. So I'm trying to figure that out.
The XP is divided equally between the classes, but when you level up on each class could be different depending on the XP requirements. So you always split the XP equally.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I got the idea. I'm just trying to figure out that XP though. So I guess it's up to how Rollo's doing it.
What'll happen is once this module we're doing the Slave Lord series A1 through 4, and we are on the end of A2. So once this finishes up, I'm sure I'll make a point to ask him, and then from there we'll get our experience points, level up if we can, which we probably will. And then go into the A3.
Those of us who don't die.
Well, there's that, yes.
It sounded like he was pretty intent on killing off Rothas next time.
Well, Amos is going to be
let's get other obligations.
He's got other stuff to do, so he's going to be withdrawing from the game. So
I said it's got to be a fireball mishap.
It should be like it goes off like wrong and blows him up in the corridor.
I think that would be.
But he's my buddy. He's the only person I know in the group, apparently.
Gotta give him a heroic send-off.
That just forces you to step outside your comfort zone.
Oh man, killing off all the elves.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Well, we can always pick up some more. I'm sure they've got a bunch of them enslaved in there. So,
how's the roll work with? Let's say it comes down to like intelligence or wisdom, and I have intelligence 17. Do I get like a +3 on that, or how does that work?
Depends on what are you talking about? A skill check?
So I'm not talking about like saving. Yeah, skill check. Exactly.
A skill check would be 17 or lower, and then it would minus the 3 points under that if you needed it. So the plus would become a minus.
Okay.
At that point.
Yeah, so when rolling perception, for example, it's better to have it lower than higher.
In 1E, it's your ability score. It's your ability score target or less. What the fuck is going on over there? It's reverse for 5E. 5E is the score or above.
Okay, because there was a I was doing it like that last time, and I think he mentioned something like I said I had a 3, and I think he's like, you can't have that. You're like so low. Okay, well he rolled a 3. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out what
I think. Okay, so
if you remember that.
I ran a 5e campaign briefly before saying fuck this and going back to the old school stuff. But in 5e, they have the difficulty classes where you would make a roll, and like 10 would be average difficulty, get it to 10 or higher. 5 would be something easy, 15 would be something hard, maybe 20 would be nearly impossible. But if somebody has enough of a bonus to their roll because of their ability score modifier, they could have an easier time getting that. With 1E, if you want to try to perform something and some task, and the dungeon master wants to make a random or have you make a random roll to determine whether you're successful, then you determine what ability score would most affect that task, and then you would have to roll a number equal to or lower than your ability score, plus or minus a modifier if the DM wanted to make it more or less challenging to succeed. So the higher your ability score, the easier it is to roll equal to or under that.
Which is why if you're doing some kind of thieving shit and you have a dexterity of 18, that's fantastic. So
very nice. You add 4 to that, right?
Yeah, it's easier to roll 18 or lower than it is like, say, 10 or lower.
Yeah.
Probability-wise.
It gets a little confusing because then on the other hand, you have your saving throws where the higher your level, the lower your saving throws are because you just have to roll equal to or higher than them. So with the skill checks, it's equal to or under your ability score. With saving throws, it's equal to or over your saving throw for the type of attack. There's it would be, this is my only complaint about 1E. Everything else I love, but the inconsistency between rolling low being better versus rolling high being better on different types of rolls can be confusing for some people. Once you've done it for a little bit, it's like, okay, this is, you got to roll.
Yeah, I kind of like the inconsistency because it weeds out retards.
Mm-hmm. So it's basically like a 5E's DC save. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Except
yeah, difficulty class
lower than that. Okay, yeah,
correct.
I got it. Cool.
Indeed.
So 5E is probably the closest to the original AD&D they have been in a while, but having higher rolls be better consistently, it does simplify it a little bit.
Yeah.
But for a lot of stuff, I'll just use percentages. I'll say, what percentage makes sense for success in this situation? When in doubt, I just use percentage dice.
Indeed.
A little more granular, too. Yeah, higher resolution, so to speak.
Hmm. Come on, log the fuck in.
Yeah, one of the things that's kind of universal in the Schwarzauge or the dark eye is the rolling low feature. And one of the things I actually think is kind of cool mechanically is when it comes to doing certain abilities. Let's say you're trying to climb up a statue because there's a statue holding a gem in its hand. And so you're trying to climb up it to steal that gem. Well, you wouldn't just do a dexterity roll for that. Within the context of that game, you're basically rolling a strength roll, a dex roll, and a intelligence or some other roll in there to climb up it. Because, are you strong enough to climb the statue? Are you agile enough to move around to get up the statue? And do you have some idea of what you're doing? And so you basically, instead of rolling 1d20, you roll 3 d20s, and you have whatever your abilities are as far as your stats. And then, of course, you have certain ability points that you've bought using what is essentially your experience points within the confines of that game system. So if you have you've bought abilities or feats, or I'm trying to use generic terms that people who have played some other kind of role-playing game might be able to conceptualize. You've bought points in like climbing or swimming or some other thing like that. Well, obviously then those factor into your die rolls. So within it, and it's pretty easy, you use 3 die, 3 different colors, you roll the die, and generally speaking, once you've played for a little while, you kind of know, hey, as long as I roll under a 10, I will succeed. And then of course there are when you roll a 1, which is one of the things that makes the game nice. If you've got dice that always crap you out in D&D, those are the D20s you want to use in the Dark Eye, because that is
a thing.
Yeah, and because that's what will effectively give you your critical rolls or successes and things like that, and it's not an automatic thing. You get to roll again to see how successful you are. So there are some things mechanically about the game that a lot of people like. I've heard the term crunchy, that it's a very crunchy game system. Personally, what I like best about it is just the setting and the fact that throughout every edition of the game, the setting is universal as far as imagine, if you will, Greyhawk or Blackmoor or the Forgotten Realms was the one and only setting in D&D, so that everyone who played D&D played in Greyhawk or played in Blackmoor. So there's a connection or continuity within the game generationally, having played in that setting or that world that's very different. And it's something that's not a part of D&D, because every
D&D,
I know some people that played Greyhawk. I know some later generations that played Forgotten Realms, and a few that played Blackmoor. But most of the people I know who played D&D played their own worlds and their own campaigns. Whether they used the Greyhawk modules or not, they somehow or another put the keep on the Borderlands within the confines of their own gaming campaign in their own gaming world.
WotC released a lot of survey data on this recently. I think it's as much as about 60% of people are running not an official setting of the game.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't surprise me at all that it's that high. In fact, if anything, I'm surprised it's not that higher.
I'm surprised. I heard that number. I was like, 40% of people are still using using official settings. Interesting.
Yeah.
I like the freedom of being able to just
TJ, check your email
up on the fly. Although with what we're doing, using actual historical Earth as an alternate universe Earth as a basis for it saves a hell of a lot of time with maps and locations and things. But the fact that it's an alternate reality version gives some flexibility for playing around with stuff. But I think that's half the fun as a DM, is coming up with different places and creating this sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which, just real quick, if anybody has anything they want to throw out before we get to Jorvik and Northumbria, are there any things that you've always wanted to be able to do in an RPG as a PC that you would like me to try to somehow work into this? Just
you mean like picking up barmaids or what? What are you talking about, Drew?
Wait, picking a fight with barmaids?
Yeah, picking a fight with barmaids.
Definitely not picking a fight with them.
Ulfur's plan is once we get back to that fucking island and wiping all those dark elves, those assholes out, I'm going to take over that tower and make it my own.
That's going to be fun. So mass combat, and
I hire as many
Aaron's
magic
familiar
users as
with
I can.
this. The Trollopolis group has been talking about this stuff for a while. Jeffro and the others have put out all sorts of really great information on how to run mass combat, how to scale things up in the AD&D. So I need to go back and review. I was taking notes when they were talking about it. But yes, go there with an army and just fuck those dark elves up.
That's right.
Robert, is there anything other than picking a fight with barmaids that you wanted to do?
Honestly, I definitely like the idea of doing an element of wargaming in this. I'm with Vince on that. That I think would be something very, very cool. I mean, because he and I both talked about the fact that I'm going to build a temple to Thor on that island. That's
so much money.
He's doing the temple. I'm doing the tower.
You have so much money right now coming back that you could build a temple.
Don't know what to do with it.
There's rules in the first edition DMG for costs for all this stuff, for building these things and for hiring all these men at arms and everything. So you tell me what you want, and based on the money you have, obviously you're not going to go there in a week be able to do this. Maybe forms. This could be an interesting part of all this, is maybe forming some alliances and rounding and putting together and arming an army. You got to have blacksmiths, you got to have shipbuilders and everything. Maybe hire some underling wizards and other stuff to be just lobbing fireballs at them.
I want to hire Kanye the Giant.
there we go. Maybe you'll run into him in one of the taverns. That would be probably the place. Maybe while he's there picking fights with barmaids.
Yeah.
You ever made your PC the villain before?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
No,
Tell me about that.
Every time. I'm always playing an evil person. I'm just playing me.
No, my original campaign.
Well, you're a magnificent piece of shit anyway. So
yeah, that's just you, James. That's just being true to yourself. No, my original campaign group had a villains campaign as well as our regulars. So we had characters of all various different alignments, and so depending on which of one of the few regular DMs we had within the group, there were like 4 main guys that DM'd, but other guys would occasionally do one-off adventures and stuff like that within our campaign setting, and we all shared notes with each other as far as who was doing what and where. And when our villain campaign first started, one of the DMs was having the opposition NPCs were actually based on our other player characters. So our bad guys were actually fighting against our heroes. And it took a while, but obviously during the course of the game, armor was recognized, style of doing things were recognized. It's like, that seems awful familiar. And it's like, oh, well, hell, that's so-and-so's paladin. Of course, that's what's going on. So yeah. So, and then, but that's how it worked. And so we were real lucky. Our group pretty much spanned all of Indianapolis, primarily divided between the west side of town and the east side of town. And that was because of one of my guy I enlisted with and was best man at his wedding and everything else. His cousin lived on the east side of Indy and became like one of my very best friends. I mean, we went camping and did all kinds of crap together. And so he was one of our primary DMs. His brother was a DM within their group. And so they had like their play group, which were all the guys that lived in their neighborhood and went to their high school. And then you had us on the west side, which was like our group that all went through junior high and the same high school. And well, same elementary, junior high, and high school, because we all started that young in the 70s playing together. So our groups merged into like one super group, and that whole world was basically built by all of us. So and we played constantly. So we were passing notes in German class about game stuff. We were writing notes and stuff in like dwarven runes and from the Lord of the Rings as coded messages to pass off between classes. So our game world definitely was running 24/7, but that was a luxury we had, in junior high and early into high school that unfortunately you just don't have when you're an adult.
I wish I could do that. I was playing in Jeffro's campaign for a while, but the Thursday night games were going until 1, sometimes 2 in the morning, and I can't do it with my schedule. But holy crap, it was just had a lot of fun. The whole 1-to-1, it was just fucking awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Although my PCs have probably all starved to death by now, because they do have a monthly upkeep that they have to maintain, unless they just happen to get some menial work in.
They're out pig farming or something like that.
They're begging in the streets of minus Mandolph or picking pockets, most likely.
Were they like chia pets?
Yeah.
Touching other characters' swimsuit areas.
Hey, 20 gold pieces, 20 gold piece, right, Drew?
Well, one of them's a thief.
It's 20 platinum pieces now.
One of them is a thief, so he's probably doing okay. Another is a magic user who actually started out with 1 hit point and just barely survived. This is a character that's with 1 hit point starting out. I played him just not completely recklessly, a little cautiously at first, but later I figured, you know what, this guy's going to die. So just played him a little bit reckless, I should say boldly, and he ended up not dying and getting some good HP rolls for a magic user anyways, and leveling up. So I don't know, he's probably hanging out doing minor enchanting or whatever the fuck.
You didn't even have a constitution bonus to give you any extra points at first level?
No.
Wow,
it was I
had
had 1 hit point.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste your time looking him up, but it started out with not good stats, but I rolled what I rolled. Mm-hmm. He had good intelligence. Thus, I will make him a mage, but that hit point wrong, like, holy shit, he's going to die. Mm-hmm. But I figured, all right, well, that's what I rolled. That's what I get. Let's see what happens with it. And it ended up actually being a lot of fun because of the constant fear of, okay, this character, is he going to die now? Is he going to die now? Is a constant thing. So TJ, what are you thinking? What do you want to, what have you always, you're kind of new to this. What kind of a cool thing would you like your character to do when we get back to what is medieval England, basically?
I want to kill a lot of bad people.
Oh,
fantastic.
Shit. Well, that we can do the first right off the boat.
I know what I want. I want a character that has a warhammer.
Well, you definitely want a barbarian then. Did you get the PDF?
I got
that. Well, I could see that.
Yeah, not yet.
You didn't get it yet?
I got the email. I haven't gotten the PDF yet. No.
Well, go get it, you son of a bitch, and go look at it.
All right.
Do you have any dice with you right now? We'll roll up some ability scores and put a character. That's what we could have done. Put as a character.
Well, I just purchased the Unearthed Arcana PDF version for him and sent it over as a gift.
I need to read it so I get caught up on it here. But yeah, that would be fun having a barbarian character in the group. Maybe some sort of northern, like a Pict or Goth, or who would have been. Robert, at that time in that place,
some big retard.
What are the Picts, the Goths? Who would have the barbarians have been? The Slavs?
Well,
the Celts.
You would have had Pictish people, Irish, the Welsh, basically the Celtic French, and what would have been Francia.
Okay.
So, I would, if TJ, I would think would maybe go toward like an Irish barbarian or something like that. So something kind of
fucking bagpipes and shit.
Yeah, Celtic and Gaelic, and that might work for him. But
that
yeah,
would be pretty fucking cool.
Chris Fogan says the Caledonians.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I need to brush up on my early medieval history and geography here, so I get.
Well, we're basically playing around the late 700s, early 800s during
about 7 to 800s. Although obviously with AD&D, there's with the armor and the weapons, you got steel, you've got some armor that's plate and things that are available that wouldn't have come around until like 1200, 1300 or so.
Yeah, the Argus, which is coming around probably in the 1400s.
Oh shit, yeah. So, I don't think we're using. You know what? It's an alternate reality version of Earth, and this is the fun part about fantasy. We can use the historical Earth as a foundation, but we don't have to be historically accurate. So we can do all that kind of stuff.
Who the fuck is typing like a madman?
Yeah.
Oh, that's me. That's impressive.
I'm turning you off. I shut you the fuck up.
I was about to say something though. I want to.
I'd actually is it possible to make my character Saxon or like some sort of like Saxon barbarian.
The Saxon. This will be interesting because the Saxons and the Vikings did not exactly see eye to eye there. That
So-
will add an interesting dynamic.
Well, the other interesting dynamic would be is if he there was some famous massacre of the Danes by the Anglo-Saxons at one point. So by their Thanes or whatever. So it'd be interesting if my character was one of the guys who carried that out. Like being one of those barbarians.
Send me whatever information that you can find on that, and we'll see if we can work it into the story. It'll be an interesting twist.
Well, you could still have, Drew, that Wessex hasn't been conquered by the.
All right, he's got to hang on. He's got to roll the character up first to make sure he actually has the ability scores. So
yeah.
So I just posted it in the private chat.
What are the prereqs for? Oh, this is to the massacre.
Yeah.
it's not the full goddamn link either. It cut out like halfway through.
Oh yeah, it'll
just cut and paste it. Just cut and paste it.
I'm not going to read that right now, but I'll check that.
TJ, open up the Unearthed Arcana PDF and turn to the Barbarians pages
Okay, barbarian.
and see what the prerequisites are. Like the minimum and the minimum ability scores you need to have in order to play a barbarian character. We know at the very least it's strength and constitution.
I should actually have.
Should have bought a fucking copy for myself too.
Oh, plus he gets a 12-sided die for his hit points.
Yes, he does. That's the best fucking die.
What are we looking at right now?
You want to look up
Barbarian, page 18, 19.
Yeah, the barbarian on the Unearthed Arcana in the very beginning, like Drew, like Robert said. Yeah, and you want to look up the prerequisite ability scores, if you can.
It's in the first paragraph, TJ.
Oh, okay.
Barbarian is page 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on that page. It's just there's a lot of text.
There's a lot of words
so
you're gonna have
you
to
need
read, yes.
a constitution of 15 or better, a strength and constitution of 15 or better, dexterity of 14 or better, and wisdom of no more than 16.
Jesus Christ.
So do this. We're going to go really easy mode. Method 2, roll 4d6 and drop the lowest roll.
Okay,
6 times, and then put them in whatever order you choose.
Okay,
And roll those D6s like you roll your D20s.
Yeah, high. So you should have at least 2d6.
Okay, so I rolled 1 5.
All right, write that down. This is in categories. So you're going to roll 46 for each category.
Okay,
And
so
then drop the low roll.
And then drop the.
So what
So-
category is this?
Well, it doesn't matter right now. So
Well-
let's just say category 1.
We're going to generate 6 numbers and then put them in the order you want.
Yeah, we have to generate 6 numbers by rolling 46.
So how many times am I rolling this? 4?
So you're rolling it 4 times. You're adding them up,
Okay.
Adding up the 3 best rolls.
adding the 3 best ones,
Okay.
and then put that in category 1.
Okay. So all right. So did that.
What'd you get?
5, 2, and 2.
All right. So you got a 10 for category 1. Let's go to category 2 now. Roll 46.
Nothing else that can be your wisdom.
Right.
It's got to be under 16 or not greater than 16.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a fucking drum roll. What'd you get? Drop the lowest one and add them up. Add the 3 up.
Okay. 6, 2, and 4.
All right. 12.
Okay, that's about average.
All right. Category 3.
Just crossed here. What is it called when you are playing the drums and you don't hit simultaneously, but one is like right after the other? Because that's what it sounds like.
It's called one after the other.
But there's a name for it.
I know you're talking
where
about.
the drums hit, it's like
Yeah.
instead of
Okay.
it's
Don't
So I rolled-
confuse TJ.
So
that's
I
what
rolled
it
a
sounds
5.
like.
So I rolled a 5, 5, and a 4. So 14.
All right,
Okay,
that's
so
good. That's good. So category 3 is 14. So let's go to category 4.
okay, now we still have to consider age.
Correct.
So he may get some
Age
penalty to wisdom, but a bonus to dexterity and strength depending on his age.
and race. I think it'll only be humans though.
So category 4 was total is 11.
Okay. Category 5. Let's go to that one.
Some high rolls here.
It's not looking good.
Yeah.
This new die is not serving you well. I might have to switch. Okay. This one is the same 11.
Yeah, you're not going to make it.
Are you rolling 4 dice and then just keeping the 3 high scores?
Yeah. I'm not rolling 4 die simultaneously.
You're rolling the dice 4 times. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So it's 11, 10, 12, 14, 11. Fingers crossed.
Here we go. 666.
I'm gonna try next time. I'm gonna try the other die.
Should have been doing that from the beginning.
Yeah.
Those die always serve me well. But the other thing is, I was rolling it out of a tin can.
What the fuck?
I know.
Are you
We
like
can hear
trying
it.
to
It's like a goddamn.
self-sabotage?
This is like a goddamn snare drum.
Well, no. I wasn't rolling it out of a tin can.
Okay, we'll roll it out of the tin can.
Well, that's what we used to do.
Well, don't stop.
I know.
Fuck.
The
What's
juju-
going over there in goddamn Washington?
Nothing good.
Apparently not.
So 10, 12, 14, 11, and
This is your last category?
oh shit, there I've only got 4 numbers. It was 10, 12, 14, 11, and what?
Maybe he has 2 more to go. So let's do category 5. Roll category 5.
Okay.
Roll 4 and add the 3 highest.
Now we're talking.
Hopefully that was a fucking 6.
Like I thought. 16.
All
Nice. That's
right.
better. Son of a bitch.
I know. I knew there was something off.
Yeah, that's
With
the new dice
with
suck
the
balls.
age adjustments,
Might work.
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause, if you're mature, now young adult, subtract 1 point of wisdom, add 1 to constitution, mature, add 1 to strength, add 1 to wisdom. So if you're mature, and this is cumulative, so you
Mature.
subtract wisdom, then you add it back. So there's no change in wisdom, but you get an extra constitution and an extra strength point.
Well, let him
with
let him
mature
let him
age.
finish the final category, and then we'll do that.
Okay.
Roll 40. Roll it 4 times. TJ and add the top 3. Well, McDebissy has 2 sets of dice,
So you gotta get
and
like
one of them
14
sucks
or
balls.
better on this.
As opposed to Vince and I, who have like multiple sets of dice where we could roll,
Yes.
4 6-sided die all at once and not even break a sweat.
Got all my game science stuff here. I get 5
I've got-
sets.
my new dice. My new metal dice.
So this is 13.
All right.
Yeah. How many years have you guys been playing, by the way? Since, I don't know, Reagan's?
What? No, stop using that as an excuse. I don't fucking want to hear it. That's just that's Bush League talk.
Okay. So
I got news for you, Vince. I am Bush League.
You are Bush League when it comes, but you can learn. You can learn, and you are, and you're learning.
fuck. Oh man.
Drink.
I'm trying to think if there's any. Shit. Okay, so barbarian must have strength and constitution of no less than 15 each.
Mhm.
That's not happening.
So he could get an extra. He could bring one of those 14s up to 15 in strength with the age, but
He would still need a dex score of 14 or better.
yeah, and there's no way to bring that up.
Well, you're
Shit.
the DM. You can decide that. It doesn't matter. We're not gonna sit here and roll fucking
Wait.
characters all night.
There is something that you can do. You can remove 2 points from one of your ability scores and add 1
Closer.
to a different ability score. So if
Wisdom.
he needs dexterity of 14 or better and constitution and strength of no less than 15, if he subtracts 2 points from that 16 and adds it to the 13, he will have 3 14s. So then he will have his 14 in dexterity. And if he puts the 14 in strength, where is it? Strength and constitution.
Somebody would be writing this
and-
down. Preferably TJ.
I can just
So-
look in my book. So
I've got it in the chat. I'm going to copy this.
We need
into
to write this shit down.
So it will work. He will be mature, like 20 something, as a barbarian. I have the pages somewhere. It's in the DMG. There are tables where you roll to determine a PC's starting age. And for a human, young adult is
10,
14
12,
to 20.
14, 11, 16, and 13. I just saw them in the MGD&D. Is that what you're talking about?
Those are TJ's ability scores, and those can be modified, and I'll put the modified ones in so that 16 becomes a 14 and the 13 becomes a 14. So he's going to be sacrificing point. So what it would then become is with a mature 20-something, and I'm not going to have him roll for the age. This will make it work. So mature, and the mature as a human, where I got too many PDFs open, would make him 21.
I just want to give a shout out to Mictobus because by watching Masculine Geek, he came across and is now having fun with his family playing Dungeons and Dragons. So you know what? I can die happy now.
yeah, good on you, Mick. Yeah, definitely.
Here's to you
That's awesome.
and your family.
Okay, so his strength is 15, his constitution is 15, his dexterity would be 14, and that leaves the 12, the 11, and the 13. No, the 10, 12, and the 11. So, oh boy, 10, 12, and 11. I think that 12 should probably go in charisma because that will help him with saving throws on some things. Ooh, it's tough. You know what?
And it'll also help him with followers and hirelings and stuff.
Yeah, he's not going to be using strength.
Thank God, Mictobus.
or intelligence and wisdom much as a barbarian. So I'm going to put the intelligence, and TJ, if you want to change this, it's fine. As long as your strength and constitution are 15 and your dexterity are 14, I'm going to put the intelligence as 10 and the wisdom at 11.
Okay.
There you go. That works.
So mature human, let's say 21, barbarian, strength 15, intelligence 10, wisdom 11, dexterity 14, constitution 15, charisma 12. You got a 12-sided die for your hit points. Now, I don't know if anybody's run the XP yet to see what their level is, but what is everybody at right now? Like 6 or 7?
Ulfer's at 7, almost 8th level. And TJ, you should be like a sort of a relative of Bjorn and call yourself Grimbjorn.
Grimbjorn.
You know?
Well, except I'm Dane and he wants to be a Saxon, so he'd have to.
Fuck it. That's all right.
Maybe
We were
Yeah,
friends.
you-
I spared
you-
him in the massacre.
Your relatives from like the own marriage side, whatever. Fuck it.
maybe
Fuck
in
it.
Bjorn's
His
youth.
dad fooled around with a Saxon woman.
Exactly, and fucked her.
That's so Bjorn had spread his seed across the English countryside before becoming a cleric, maybe. And you are his, unbeknownst to him, his half son.
Grimbjorn and Bjorn. There you go. I like it.
That's always a possibility. Although
Yeah.
we don't know how old
Who's your
Bjorn
daddy?
is. Bjorn could be like 25 or something right now, which would make that even a little
That's
weird.
really fucked. That's really fucked up.
Yeah, well, it's Vikings, you know.
That's what happens over there. It's
But
retarded.
yeah, it'll only take a little bit to roll your hit points because we'll just figure that out later on, and we'll figure out you got to come up with a cool Saxon name. There is a website. Actually, I'm not going to pimp anybody's websites on here, but if you look for fantasy name generator, You'll come up with a bunch of different websites, and some of them will allow you to generate real world names based on various historical groups. And you should be able to find Saxon names in some of them. So you can find something authentic for that.
Well, you could always pick someone famous from Wessex or Mercia, like Ethelred or Ethelwulf or Alfred.
There's no reason you can't play a famous historical character in this. Make it work. But
or at least borrow his name. Yeah.
I'm going to throw something out just for expedience, and you guys can either say, yes, we want to do this, or no, we don't want to do this, to expedite the process of how the hell do these people know each other and come to work with each other. When you get to town, I was thinking that Noble's and TJ's characters would be, and I'm sorry, I forgot your name. My mind is going blank here with all the D&D stuff going on, but your character, all of your characters are known to these guys, and you are renowned fighters and whatever else it is that you guys. Oh wait, no, you already have the paladin. That's right. You didn't die, so you're coming back with them. Also, Noble Junior's dwarf didn't die, so he's coming back too.
Correct.
So everybody who's joining, hopefully Rollo too.
Yeah.
Their PCs. What do you guys think about this? Their PCs are already known to either all or one or more members.
I don't think
of
Raul
your
is
group.
coming back as a player.
Yeah,
If he decides to, we'll figure out a way to work him in at some point. In fact, what I can do, and again, this is up to you guys, is work in something like Lupo, where it is a gopher type character who is just kind of there.
Jack Napier?
Yeah.
Yeah, to watch the wagons. We got a character in one of our other games that we're playing, Velexor. And Velexor is a fighter, but when we don't have the person that normally plays Velexor only is able to play sometimes. When he is not able to play, Velexor's job is to watch over the wagons while we're in the dungeons or we're exploring or while we're doing other stuff. So he basically protects the wagons. So we have him rank up along with the group, even though he's not really doing anything, so that when somebody jumps in, anybody that wants to come and play with us will say, okay, yeah, we got an extra PC already. You'll play as this guy. And then if you want to continue playing with us, we'll just have you roll up your own PC. But this is somebody that you can just jump in and play. It's a fighter. Doesn't take a lot for a new person to do. So I can have a kind of a DM PC, so to speak, that is just there to carry stuff for the rest of the team and maybe be an extra arrow sponge or something. And then if Rollo wants to jump in, great. He can just play that character. Or if the circumstances make sense where you could encounter somebody else that could come and join, do that too. Whatever, we can be flexible with that. But
well, what about Rough Jesse? I know I asked about this before, and I know there's like scheduling issues and stuff like that, and all kinds of stuff. But I mean, is that a possibility on either end? You, Drew, as DM, and Jesse as far as availability or even interest in playing?
You know, it's funny when I think it was TJ, right? When he was rolling, I rolled.
Nah, nice. All right.
Did you get for a barbarian?
What do you got? You got a barbarian?
Now listen to these rolls. 9, 15, 15, 9, 18, 14.
Nice.
That's the way you do it.
Probably the best rolls I've done.
What could we use? We could use another heavy hitter fighter. We could use
always use fighters.
Yeah, always use a tank.
We don't have a rogue anymore, do we?
Didn't you guys say that you needed a rogue or cleric?
Yeah, we do need a rogue. Yeah,
a rogue. Yes. So, if we got a rogue and a barbarian, there's our Fofford and the Grey Mouser, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean not Fofford and the Grey Mouser, but that kind of
dynamic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Let's do it.
What would you do the stats on?
Whatever you
for rogue.
The highest one would be on dexterity.
Yeah.
Whatever you think would be the most fun.
Yeah.
Strength or Constitution?
I was gonna say yeah, strength or Constitution.
Yeah, usually I like high Dex, high Constitution because the strength is useful.
More hit points.
But yeah, not getting
it's
killed
not
because
it's not as useful. It's not as useful in first edition as it is in 5e and the rest of the editions. The high strength.
Yeah.
So you can get magic items to augment any kind of to attacks and shit. So I would concentrate, like Drew said, concentrate the high numbers on Constitution and Dexterity for a thief.
Yeah, and plus, even in first edition, you're still going to want to fight stealthily,
and then figure out
not tank.
Correct, and then figure out what race you want to be in, do the whole age thing with as far as like augmenting your abilities.
Oh, that's
right. The age.
How does the age work again? You want to?
What page is that on?
I'll write that down.
It's in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and I have so in the Dungeon Master's Guide there is a list here's aging.
And what race do you want to be?
This starting on page 12.
Figure that out first.
So for a non-human character on page 12 of the 1E Dungeon Master's Guide, it shows what you roll to determine your PC's starting age. If you're a dwarf, for example, and there's different types: dwarf, magic, depending if you're a cleric, a fighter, a magic user, a thief. Okay, you can't be a magic user as a dwarf in 1E, but let's say you want to be a dwarf cleric. Your age would be 250 plus 2d20. Right there, it tells you what to roll. And they've got different combinations for the other races and classes. For humans, it just doesn't list the human this and that. It's just got the classes. For a human cleric, your age is 18 plus 1d4. Magic user, it's 24 plus 2d8. A little bit longer study. For a fighter, it's 15 plus 1d4. Paladin, 17 plus 1d4. Ranger, 20 plus 1d4. And then this got it listed for all the others. For a thief, it's 18 plus 1d4. So with a thief, you've got about a 50% chance of being mature. And then on page 13, it has the age categories: young adult, mature, middle-aged, old, and venerable, which for elves is just insane. Like the gray elves, like venerables, 15,001 years to 2,000 years old. It's nuts. Whereas humans, it's like 91 to 120. So young adult, as a human, if you're between 14 and 20, you subtract 1 point to wisdom and add 1 point to constitution. Mature, you add 1 point to strength and add 1 point of wisdom. So you would basically not do anything with your wisdom because you lose it if you're a young adult, but you add that point of wisdom back if you become mature. And this is cumulative with the age. So you start at young adult, you go until you get to the age. But you would add a point to constitution and add a point to strength. So this is something to consider for each race with 1E when you're doing this. And you would also write the date that you rolled the character. That's its birthday and its age. Because in a long, we're probably not going to be doing this for years and years and years. But age can change because of magical effects in this. Or normally, if you're playing one inside of a campaign, when you're like playing the game in a session, you might have a couple hours pass in real time, but play out a couple days or even weeks worth of in-game world stuff within that time. But then outside of the session, all of that stuff would have to track with real time. We're not doing that here because it's not practical with the online episodic format. But I bring this up because year after year, if you're playing the same character, they will age. So there's consequences to this. If you have a character that starts out as 20, that character survives a year. On their birthday the next year, you get to add a point to strength and add back a point to wisdom to the character. Or if a spell causes them to age unnaturally or makes them younger unnaturally, it would have effects on this. So age, all of the stuff comes into play with the first edition. It's a bit more crunchy, but it makes for really interesting consequences in the game. Anyways, so I'll be excited to see, what. And is there any different thieves in Unearthed Arcana? I know we got the barbarian. I'm looking for.
There's the thief acrobat.
the acrobat.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool. It'd be like flipping around and doing backflips and shit.
Yeah, there it is.
Like a
Thief
fucking
and thief acrobat.
an AD&D gymnast and shit.
Acrobatic dwarf. Here we go.
You totally fucking, that'd be fucking awesome. Do it.
Or
Do
you could play it. You could play a gnome, and you could be
no, you don't be
brother
Clary.
come to
Leave that-
avenge him.
Nah, definitely an acrobatic dwarf. Fucking his
Yeah.
beard gets in the way and shit. That's great.
I'm pretty sure dwarves can be thieves.
I
They
think
can.
And
yeah. They can.
where
Yeah.
is I've
I
got
think
two
they're limited
different-
to like fourth level thieves. I think that's their racial level limit for dwarves. Or dwarven thieves. That is.
Except in Unearthed Arcana, if we're using that blows open all kinds of different things.
Yeah, we'll
Right.
incorporate Unearthed
Yeah.
Arcana, so that'll raise the limit on that. So yeah, and there's also modifiers to the abilities for the different races. So we'd have to go back to the player's handbook.
TJ
for that.
in the MGD&D Twitter chat is your stats.
Yes,
Yeah,
I put
I
them in
saw
there.
All right, write them down.
So dwarf, where is dwarf? 'Cause
I'll
I
help
know
you
there's some
flesh out. I'll
changes.
help you flesh out the rest of it.
Notes regarding race. Where the hell are the dwarves? There's dwarves. And it's interesting. DWARVES, because I know some people spell it dwarfs.
That's not correct.
DWARFS. But yeah, dwarves sounds, and elves, not elves. I think when I hear elves, I think like Keebler.
Retards.
Let's see, rock dwarves. Where are the race adjustments for the?
I think I was looking at it before. I think it does take away from Dex, but adds the con or something. I don't remember.
There, it's listed. You know what? I will. Son of a.
Yeah, it's a shame we don't need a rogue because his
Okay.
stats are high enough. He could have been a cavalier as well. Although I'm trying to imagine a Viking cavalier, that's basically a rider of Rohan.
This is something I forgot too. In melee combat, dwarves add 1 to their dice rolls to hit opponents who are half orcs, goblins, hobgoblins, or orcs. And when they are attacked by ogres, trolls, ogre magi, giants, and or titans, dwarves subtract 4 from their opponents to hit dice rolls because of the dwarf's small size and combat ability he gets. So as a dwarf, your AC improves by 4 against those things, that is substantial. Where the hell is the race adjustment here? Okay, am I looking in the right book? Yeah, Player's Handbook. Okay, dwarves, non-magical, don't use magical spells. I guess they don't particularly care for that. But they have better saves against attack by magic wands, staves, and rods. This bonus 1% for every 3.5 points of Constitution ability. Let's see, where the hell is it?
Mictobus, that the music harkens back to the early 90s with a box set called Red Steel. In Red Steel was a CD of music. This is actually one of the tracks, and the track is called The Fair. I usually have Into the Dungeon, The Dread Forest, The Battle, and Suspense playing whenever we actually play the game. But I thought this was whimsical and kind of funny considering what we're doing.
Hey guys, I gotta sign off.
All right, go throw up or take a shit. We'll see you later.
See ya.
All right. Be interested to see what he comes up with for his barbarian. I'll send a link later to some sites. Here it is. I found it. So the race. As a dwarf, you get a +1 to your constitution and a -1 to your charisma.
Oh, it's charisma, not Dex?
An elf gets a +1 to dexterity and a -1 to constitution. However, none of these race bonuses can bring the only ability score that can be brought over 18 by any these modifications is wisdom. So like with your age and other things, your wisdom, if you rolled a high wisdom, your wisdom can actually go over 18, but it doesn't allow the others to do that with this other than by special magical means. So
Okay,
as a
so
dwarf, you would lose a point of charisma and gain a point of constitution, which would make you pretty hardy with the scores that you've got.
Bump it up to a 16 or so. Acrobatic dwarf drunkard.
I love it already.
With
fucking
his beard,
awesome.
it touches the fucking ground.
That's right. He's got he's
Doing
puts it up in a-
backflips.
Puts it
beard's
up in
all
a
on their
fucking puts it
face.
up in a fucking braid.
I can't remember where, but I think I remember one of those old kung fu movies where there was some woman that had a braid that had a kunai or something.
It had a
at the end of
fucking
it, so
blade
she
on
could
it. Yeah.
Whip around her hair and do that. What if you had like some metal balls in your beard where you could swing your beard and slam those into people's heads?
What?
The ball braces, like the steel ball braces.
You'd have a pair of steel
Like a
balls
ball in your
in your
beard.
beard.
What are you,
and you'd
Mictobus?
swing them and hit people with them.
Oh,
I don't know. Just throwing that out there. That kung fu movie came to mind.
So I don't have a weapon. I just hold my beard and I'm just swinging it at people.
You should totally
Like
do
a
that. I love
bludgeoning
it.
weapon. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely have a weapon as a backup, but that could be your primary. You can sneak attack people with that shit. They'd never see it coming.
As a thief, holy shit. No, seriously here though, as a thief, if you had woven into your beard like some leather strips and wires, you could take your beard
All right, settle down there.
rot somebody with it. If it's a long enough beard, just a little bit of wire in there, yeah, you could hide a rope in your beard and strangle people to death with it.
Yeah. You use it like a rope, like Rapunzel, right?
That you'd have to grow that beard pretty long. You could just kind of loop it over a shoulder or something. It's your character. Do whatever, and then we'll just see what the dice say when you try things with it.
This is the music for it when he comes on scene.
I like it. What is
There
this
you go.
from?
I already like it.
So this track is called what is this one called? This is called Igor Balazar. This is also from the Red Steel soundtrack. I have the two original box sets that came with CDs. And the first CD's nuts. The first CD was a orchestration, which is what you're hearing now. One of the tracks. Actually, no, this is the second one. Igor Balazar, the second one. They each came with little bits of music, and I looped them while we're playing.
Cool.
Yep.
That sounds good. So we have a barbarian, a Saxon barbarian. We got a dwarf, thief, acrobat.
There you go.
Now we have, I don't know where nobles, this is so weird, a paladin of Loki. So, which is going to be pretty fucking chaotic. I think we decided it had to be chaotic neutral because Loki is not good, but he's not entirely evil. He's just incredibly.
Yeah, but you can't be a paladin unless you're lawful.
Oh shit! We're gonna need to figure some way out because
he's lawful. That's a nice mix.
But if you're a Loki,
And Ulfr doesn't give a shit about anything, so.
I mean,
Oh boy.
does the alignment have to match? Does the alignment have to match in this edition with whatever your deity's alignment is?
I think it's supposed to. I need to check and be absolutely. Here's the thing: I don't have to be absolutely certain because we're not playing strictly raw. We're kind of playing fast and loose with it because of the format. But being a paladin of Loki is kind of weird because if you're a paladin, you swear an oath to a god or goddess or some sort of deity, some divine being, to be its basically servant, so to speak, or to carry out its will, to be loyal to it and further its cause. And what is Loki's cause? Mischief and pranks more than anything else. And if you guys, have you ever read the Havamal? because Loki is a complete bastard. Holy crap! You know what? Do I even have
see, here's the thing. Paladins have to be lawful good. That's just the rule for paladin. Clerics are alignment based on what their deity is, and Loki, per the DM guide or the Deities and Demigods book, is chaotic evil, and his worshippers' alignments are chaotic evil. So, as a cleric of Thor, a cleric of Loki, or a paladin of Loki would be my rival, and I would be, not serving my god if I didn't, punish him and stuff. So that's where I see potential conflict. Although if you were a follower of Loki, you know, like a fighter who was a follower of Loki, you wouldn't necessarily advertise that you were a fighter of Loki. Just because you're chaotic evil doesn't necessarily mean you're chaotic stupid. Just like lawful evil or lawful good doesn't mean lawful stupid, which some newer or later
We're going to have
generation
to
players have
discuss
issues
this
with
and
that.
find a way to make it work. Because I think the reason he wanted to be a paladin was for the sake of having some of the paladin bonuses and abilities. But yeah, well, I'll let him know, because if he's going to be a paladin of Loki, then that's going to obviously cause some issues here. And otherwise, because I know he wanted to get the holy sword and all that, but other than the healing abilities, oh crap.
Yeah, because I don't know
Or
how
we
you
could
could be a lawful good paladin.
That's why I said neutral.
Yeah, an evil god. So,
oh boy.
yeah.
I'm trying to find the part in the Havamal where Loki basically comes to the hall where all the gods are drinking and pretty much just sits there insulting them and trying to pick fights with them, and they kick him out, and I think he comes back and just kills some servant just for the hell of it. Loki is an absolute bastard. Which version of this? Oh, this is the Wanderer's Hub, not the Pocket Havamal. Holy crap. Yeah, Loki is an absolute bastard. I can't remember what part of it is, and there's a lot in here. But holy crap, he is. I mean, it's just the whole thing. This is just it's an entertaining and interesting read.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is one of the images in the Deities and Demigods book is of Loki running across water and Thor, you know, in the water, getting ready to thump him with his hammer. So it's like,
makes sense.
Yeah, that antagonism is definitely there.
Can you have fallen paladins?
Well, there are anti-paladins, but there
he would
again,
probably have to be an anti-paladin.
Yeah, he would have to be an anti-paladin.
It originally showed up in the Dragon magazine, like in the first 100.
Yeah, so even as an anti-paladin, there's no way a cleric of Thor is going to be like, yeah, that's there's no way to role play that successfully.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'll have to tell. I think he probably is not as familiar with the mythology or some of this, but yeah, God damn it, I can't find it. You know what? It might not have been in the Havamal. It might have been in the Poetic Edda, and they just included it in one of the other books that I had here. I'll have to find it later and share it. But there's this exchange between Loki and all of these other guys, and he's going and he's calling Frigga a whore and insulting everybody, and Odin tolerates him because of some oath.
Fucking fantastic.
Loki is just it's funny to read because he's just a complete bastard, and he's very witty with his insults. But Odin has to, I can't remember, Odin made some oath that he has to tolerate Loki. There's another one where Odin is disguised as a boatman that is on one side of a river, and Thor wants to cross the river, and Odin will not bring the boat over, and they're going back and forth hurling insults at each other. And Thor is yelling, threatening to kill him and this and that, and Odin's just insulting him, and just the whole thing is them going back and forth, bantering. It's pretty interesting. I'll have to, I think I shared some quotes from that in the chat a while back. It was pretty shocking. They kind of go on boasting for a lot, and Odin is boasting about all of the women that he's bedded and people that he's killed. And then Thor is boasting about, oh, well, you think you're so tough. Well, I killed this giant and that giant. And then Odin, well, I did this and that. And it's going back and forth between the boasts and the insults. But, crap, we need to discuss and figure out how to make this work, or how to change it so that it does, because otherwise the first thing that needs to happen once Bjorn finds out, and maybe this is how we maybe both of you guys roll up new characters and have them ready, and you fight it out on the boat. Maybe that's where we pick up once you find out that he is a paladin of Loki.
Ulfric gets fireball.
Because yeah, that's well, would this need to be single combat, or?
Well, see,
Ulfr has Bjorn's back, so you're all fucked.
Well, and the other part of this that's weird is the fact that clerics in AD&D are written as though, based on what their limitations are and everything else, they're basically Catholic.
Yeah.
And
Irish Catholic.
Yeah, and so you've got, a cleric is devoted to one god because there is one god, etc., etc., etc. Whereas within D&D, especially playing a Viking themed, game,
there's a pantheon.
I'm a cleric of Thor, but that doesn't mean I don't respect Tyr and the other gods of the pantheon, and especially not the Allfather. So, but when you look at the abilities of the cleric, I mean, that's one of the things with the non-edged weapons, non-ranged weapons and stuff like that. And that, with the Inquisition, yeah, we'll stretch you and crush you, but we won't, cut you with a sword or knife, but we'll burn you at the stake. And so, yeah, there are things where you have to be kind of creative to do it right, to be thematically correct and also correct within the confines. Now, fortunately for me, with my god being Thor, fighting with a hammer, which is a blunt weapon, makes perfect sense. Whereas if my god or goddess was Sif, Sif's symbol is a sword. So as a cleric of Sif, you would think you would use a bladed weapon. The same, if you were a cleric of Tyr.
Spear.
Yeah, so...
But didn't Tyr have the magical dancing sword?
Yes, he had a magical sword, and Odin would have his spear. So, so it...
Gungnir?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so... Yeah, that kind of stuff is affected by things, so I'm trying to be as true to character and theme as possible while sticking to the confines of the rules. But
we'll have to go over all this in the chat and just let him know that he could be maybe a fighter that is loosely a follower of Loki, but paladin is not going to work with Loki. And that Loki in mythology is not Marvel Universe Loki.
No.
So that's, yeah.
But try explaining that to 30-year-old fangirls.
And we are going
or anything
with
else for that matter.
Not Marvel Universe Norse version of Norse characters, but the
Thor is not a blonde.
Traditional. Yeah. No, he's an enormous red-haired man.
Yeah.
So, son of a bitch.
enormous bearded, red-haired man. The depiction of Thor in the Marvel comics is probably closer to what. Oh crap! They got killed with the mistletoe arrow.
Even
the
Thor,
forest.
even the Thor,
Balder, yes.
Even the Thor in the original Marvel comic was a dickhead. So I mean, that's how he
Thor is a bit of a brute, and basically he lives for killing giants. That's
really
killing giants.
But yet he's still hospitable and stuff because he was with the family and fed them, let them feed on his goats as long as they didn't break the bones.
We need to
suck out the marrow.
We need to run against it. We need to run against the giants.
Oh fuck yeah! There needs to be a giant problem. I mean,
you know what? Take those three G1, 2, and 3. Take the hill giants, the fire giants, and the whatevers.
We'll take some elements of it.
Take elements of that and totally use it. That'd be fantastic for the character mix that we have.
All right, so I'm going to throw this out there because that's a great idea.
I know. It's
what if when we get to Jorvik in Northumbria, the first thing that happens is TJ's character says, I have come from, the Saxons would have been down in the southeast, if I am not mistaken.
They would be down in, depending on the time frame, they would be in Wessex.
So.
They would be in Wessex and Mercia. So those are like two of the kingdoms that haven't been overrun by the Danes and a part of Danelaw. But I mean, it just, like I said, it all depends on where. And plus, this is an alternate history. So I mean, it's possible that you could say that Wessex, all of England, or has been conquered except for, say, maybe Wales and Caledonia up north or something. So
the biggest difference is that instead of Christendom spreading and displacing Norse, I don't know if you'd call it paganism or satire. I think paganism is what the Christians call it. It's not what they would have called it, but they're, instead of it spreading and displacing their beliefs, the opposite happened, where the belief in the Norse gods spread and displaced others. Except when you get down to the Middle East, I've decided, I don't even want to say, the Middle East is not somewhere PCs would want to go right now. It is just a really, really, really bad situation down there. But maybe that's somewhere where people will go later on. But I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil anything. Cool. But I've got some ideas of how we can work giants into this, because that would be awesome.
Definitely pick up G1 through 3. Yeah. And on that note, we're going to call it. So, does anyone have any last parting words in regard to this upcoming adventure in Drew's campaign?
Everybody, type in the chat how many sessions you think TJ's new PC will survive.
At least 3.
Well, especially,
and I'm not going to try to kill him. I don't try to kill anybody. I just try to make it challenging and see what the dice do.
They kill themselves.
No, yeah, that last time TJ definitely killed himself.
0.5.
I mean, you Vince absolutely warned everybody this was about to happen.
Everyone knows my character when I say Fuego. There's a fireball coming online,
and we knew what was going to happen. And TJ didn't respond. You, as DM,
even started to say something.
Yeah, and I'm the one that,
you're like, no, stop, let him go, let him do his thing.
Yeah, well,
so I mean,
the DM is not there.
Yeah, TJ had plenty of opportunities, but it's like his heart and his head wasn't in the game. So he was warned in game, in character. You, as a kindly DM, gave him the chance to. Hey,
I have no problem firing up killing him with a fireball again.
He wants to kill people, so I'm going to throw this out there. I don't know. I don't think TJ is going to come back and rewatch all of this, but when everybody arrives,
Mhm.
depending on where you guys go, I will create a situation where there is some sort of brawling happening for money,
Mhm.
and it is a to the death kind of thing. And these are going to be basically townies that are fighting and people betting,
Are you going to have them fight in the square?
and have somebody goad his barbarian into fighting in the square. And as a barbarian at 7th, 8th level, whatever he's starting with all the abilities and everything that he has, this is going to be pretty much bare
Would start him
knuckle.
at 7th.
But yeah, we'll start around there. Basically, bare knuckle to the death. So it'll be a fun thing. It'll be a nice win for his character to start out and show how badass he is and beat some people to death.
Yeah, there's a special kind of combat that they lay out the rods that are measured a certain length, and they lay out the 4 of them, and they have to stay within that square to duel, to fight. So there's actually a Viking ritual and custom for that. So
if you can find information on that, send it. The first thing that comes to mind is that scene from the 13th Warrior with the shields, but I don't know that that's got any historical precedence. So if you could send that, anything you can find on that, as well, it's a fantasy game.
Well, yeah,
but that would be a cool thing to have.
Well, if you want to do it
Even
that
if it's
way and
just
give
a
them
ring.
3 shields, I mean, obviously to our audience, they are probably more familiar with that cinematic reference than they would be some, ancient
It's fucking
Viking-
esoteric bullshit.
Yeah, that
will
only
come
someone
up
who
with
reads
something.
copious amount of history books would know.
I'll come up with something that is unique and interesting, and a chance for TJ to jump in, and instead of getting killed, imagine if he has terrible rolls and he gets
Fucking
beat.
knocked his ass fucking kicked in like the first scenario.
Yeah.
We should probably have like a
Hopefully
generic
not.
character rolled up for TJ to play, just like a plan B.
Yeah, I see
Nah,
our characters wagering gold pieces on this.
$20 is $20.
Well, that's the other thing is you guys can all make bets on stuff, and maybe the dwarf thief
I was
can
about
be
to say, he
sneaking
could be
around
the-
picking
he could be
people's
the bet
pockets in the
taker.
crowd.
Yeah,
The fucking
I'll
ba-
whip my
the bet
beard
taker.
out and
You'd be the
steal it.
fucking
They'll never
bag
know.
man. All right, let me. I gotta cut you guys off at the knees, otherwise Drew and Robert are gonna go on forever.
Well, we're talking D&D, so it's
All right, what, James? Want to give me one of them?
Okay.
Shut the fuck up.
There you go. Fantastic.
I'll
All right.
mute myself.
There. No. Well, hang on. Where can everyone find you, Robert?
You can find me at Robert Kuzlin on Twitter and on Instagram, where I'm mostly posting toys and stuff related to geekery, and right here with the Masculine Geek.
There you go. Jesse, rough
Yeah.
stuff.
So rough _ SC2 on Twitter and rough _ stuff _ TV on Twitch. Specialize in strategy games, so come check it out.
Fantastic. Not last, second to last. James, where can everyone find you?
All right, you can find me at patreon.com/RubeJelly. I found out I'm getting laid off at the end of this month.
What?
More time to play D&D.
Well, that's the thing is, if
Laid
all
off or
games-
laid?
Well, I'm
That too. Both.
Hey, if you look at my YouTube channel, the heading to the announcement was "I'm getting laid" (parentheses off) because I could not help
Nice.
myself.
Of course. That's
Well
what
done.
it should be.
I found out about 20 minutes later I might be getting an audiobook deal with Pylum Press, so that's exciting. And I
Oh,
decided,
that's right. You
hey,
mentioned that in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, so I will be posting of my readings of H.P. Lovecraft.
There you
I'm
go.
posting various D&D content in there, advice for games, some artwork, just miscellaneous stuff, early versions of my videos on Gelatinous Rube, and transcripts and scripts for said videos, as well as different handouts for them. So that's the deal with that.
Fantastic. Excellent. Thank you. And good to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
And last but not least, with the dog in his lap, our
Yeah, he's-
illustrious Dungeon Master, Drew Bay.
They can find me at bay.com. It's BAYE. And on Twitter at BayDrew. Again, BAYE Drew. YouTube at Drew Bay. Instagram at Drew Bay.
Jesus Christ.
They can find me on Facebook, if either Bay Drew or Drew Bay on all of these things. But if they go to my website, there should be links to all that stuff there.
Excellent.
And here, playing D&D.
Exactly. All right, everyone. I'll be away on a long weekend writing retreat this weekend. You may or may not see some things on Twitter. We'll see. But next Wednesday will be the rescheduled Mr. Raul Tomasi AD&D campaign. So look for that, and then we'll get Drew's game scheduled as well. I want to get that. I do want to get that scheduled early in April. I know there's a day that Drew cannot play, and there's also a day that Robert cannot play. So we want to pick days that's not going to fall on either of those bad Wednesdays.
I think
so.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure that out. We'll get a chat going in the DM. All right. So until then, keep those fires burning. As always, keep the wine flowing. Keep that lead flying down range, and never ever take any wood nickels.